Think, are we ready to start?
I think so. All right, I think we're
Bye.
live now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Today we have our webinar on hormones, specifically it's more women's hormone focused. I'm Dr. Lee Allison, and we have Dr. Irvi as well joining us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Perfect. Okay, so to dive a little bit into hormones and how chiropractic um, goes along with hormones. So hormones are basically set up in feedback loops in our bodies. So in Greek, everything goes back to Greek. It means setting in motion. So one point, it starts something to set something in motion at a distant cell or organ system. So typically, hormones are transported through the bloodstream to another location. So they'll be produced at one place and be transported and work their functions on another place in the body. So the nervous system and the endocrine system coordinate all the other systems in our bodies to help us maintain homeostasis. And homeostasis is just our stable equilibrium that our body likes to function at and function at optimally. So chiropractic, our bread and butter is the nervous system. So we can certainly help with a lot of hormone regulation and hormone dysregulation as well. There are a lot of hormones that work in the body. Typically, people think of estrogen, progesterone, more of the female-focused hormones. There's cortisol, insulin, thyroid hormones as well. Am I missing any, Dr. Irvi?
Yeah, those are the major hormones people think about. And like what you said in the intro, hormones are like messengers in our body, right? So they basically help one part of the body communicate with another, and that's why it's so important. And that it's not necessarily that one hormone is bad and one hormone is good, but having an appropriate balance is what helps our bodies function optimally. And the ones listed here are the most common ones that we're concerned about, and ones that we can address. We'll talk a lot about how we can address through lifestyle, through food, and we can even talk about potential testing as well.
Yes. So typically, conditions that we see as chiropractors um, are a wide variety of symptoms, and a lot of them can lead to or are stemming from hormonal imbalance. Some of those are mood changes, unexplained weight fluctuations, whether that's gaining weight, losing weight, unusual hair growth, reproductive changes, fatigue, acne, and skin changes. And then it's also important to note here that hormonal imbalances can mean either high levels, low levels. A lot of times people think, oh, it's because my XYZ hormones are high, but it can also mean that they're low or deficient as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and one more symptom that we see often in the clinic are related, hormonally related. A couple are headaches and migraines, and even just PMS related mood, irritability, and sometimes even some back pain can be related to that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a section on kind of how do we know if our hormones are off? So one, like what Dr. Lee Allison was talking about, is you can just do a self-check to just in general see how you're feeling. Um, how is your mood? How is your sleep? How's your energy levels? Things of that sort. And are you dealing with unusual, stubborn weight gain? If things feel out of balance, there could definitely be a hormonal issue. Um, you will definitely address the lifestyle issues. But in regards to actual lab testing, there's a couple things that you can do. We won't get into a lot of detail for this webinar, but just some basic action steps that you can take is one, if you see your primary care physician, you can ask for ask to to have specific hormones tested. You can have estrogen levels tested, progesterone, even your thyroid levels. You can ask for additional testing, like an expanded thyroid panel. Usually, if you don't ask for these things, they may not order it, or they might order for thyroid, for example, they might just order a TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone only, and not check other things. So you can ask for expanded thyroid panel, ask for an TPO antibody for thyroids to check for autoimmunity of the thyroid, or Hashimoto's, which is something that's very common amongst women. And the last thing that's not necessarily a hormone, but a vitamin, is your vitamin D level is extremely important for overall hormone health. And vitamin D, although named a vitamin, is oftentimes even considered to act like a hormone, and really important for all of the symptoms that we mentioned regarding metabolism, energy, and just communication with the cells. So those are some things that you can check. If you see a functional practitioner or a functional medicine doctor, a nurse practitioner, um, any healthcare practitioner, it could even be a chiropractor who's actively practicing functional medicine, they can order a test called a Dutch test, which is a dried urine test of your complete hormones, and it's very, very comprehensive, and it can make sure that it doesn't miss any gaps in regards to your hormone balance. So you can research a little bit more about Dutch test, or ask your functional practitioner about it, or we could talk more about it in the office if you like. So just wanted to mention a couple of those options.
Yes. This is Dr. Irvy's, like, strong suit. She is all about that. Here we go. Okay. Some ways that you can combat hormonal imbalances. These are just a few, and everyone's different. But one thing that you can do is follow a consistent eating schedule. So building consistent eating windows will help your body prepare for certain food intakes throughout the day, and that will help with the homeostatic routine that your body gets into. Minimizing added sugar, alcohol, caffeine, processed foods, seed oils. So, eating raw, whole foods is really your best bet for not only hormonal balance, but just healthy lifestyle in general. And then, of course, managing your stress, because cortisol is one of the most imbalanced hormones, I would say, amongst people that we see just from day-to-day life, getting stressed, different things that are happening in our bodies. And then getting enough sleep each night is also very important. Sleep is a time for your body to self-regulate itself. So that's like when you go to bed, all your organ systems begin to reset for the day ahead. So things like temperature is really important for hormones, because there's certain windows where certain hormones function optimally. Optimally. Wow, I cannot speak optimally. And if those get off because you don't get enough sleep, or you're sleeping too much, then that can lead to that imbalance, as we were talking about before. Regular exercise is also really important, as well as being sure to just eat a healthy, balanced diet every day.
Yeah, those are all on point.
Going into a little bit more of the diet section of this. So something I always like to say is build your plate by eating your colors. So it's really important to eat a lot of color, eat a lot of, like I said before, raw whole foods. And with that, you want to make sure like you're getting all your carbs, your proteins, and your fats at every meal if you can. Some healthy fat options are coconut oil, avocado, nuts and seeds, specifically Brazilian nuts, are really good for hormonal regulation, as well as chia seeds and walnuts. Some clean proteins are beans, quinoa, lentils, and then pasture raised beef or chicken is really good options, as well as wild caught fish. So if you're at the deli in your grocery and they have different types of seafood and you see wild caught, that's the best that you can get nutrient dense wise, because that just means that it's not farm raised. It was caught in the wild and then brought to you there. So it has the most nutrient dense option there, as well as a lot of antioxidants, which are really good for our bodies in general. Again, not just hormone regulation, but asparagus and a lot of antioxidant rich foods are really colorful. So anytime you see that, like blueberries, kale, cucumber, any of your like bright colored peppers, different things like that are really antioxidant rich, as well as spices and herbs. So cinnamon, turmeric, cayenne, cumin, adding these into different seasonings or different dressings are a really easy way to add in a little extra to your diet. Again, some more colors that are really good for you are sweet potatoes, spaghetti squash, artichokes, and beets as well. And then healthy carbs like oats, green tea, and Greek yogurt.
Yeah, that is excellent. Couple points I want to highlight that Dr. Lee Allison talked about is regarding healthy fats, and a lot of people don't realize how important good fats are for your body to function properly, your brain to function properly, and specifically hormones to function properly, because hormones are steroids and they're made of, guess what? They've made of fat. So to fuel your body, fuel your cells, and fuel your hormones with healthy fats, and not like the rancid fats that Dr. Lee Allison talked about earlier, like in any kind of packaged food, junk food. If you see anything that's labeled hydrogenated oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, those are the oils that you want to stay away from, and that can be hormone disruptors. But the good fats through avocados, through coconut oil, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, those are going to fuel our system, fuel our brain, fuel our hormones. And it's also going to help with the other hormone healthy foods like the excuse me, like your greens, leafy greens, and your kale, and other vegetables that are bright in color. It's going to help absorb those antioxidants, nutrients, and vitamins. So that's super, super important. And then the last point I just wanted to highlight too, that Doc was talking about in regards to certain animal proteins, and getting the free range kind. It's extremely important, because just commercial regular animal-based protein may be injected with a lot of different hormones, and once again can strongly disrupt your hormone balance. So those are a couple of key, really important points that I wanted to highlight as well.
Yeah. Something too to go off of that is a lot of times in grocery stores, you might see labeled products that might be labeled clean. So I would just highly recommend reading nutrition labels too. And if you
Yeah.
can, cooking foods at home are is always a really good option too, because you can control how much oils you put into stuff, how much different seasonings you put on stuff as well. So it's just an easier way to dictate your own diet.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about this, definitely let us know in the office, or if you are joining us, if you want to comment or ask a question that's more specific, we're happy to answer that for you guys.
Yes. Here's just a pretty picture of all the colorful foods that are really nutrient dense, really good for balancing your hormones as well as just eating a um, good diet each and every day. So, incorporating colors, like we said, as well as getting all your key nutrients, carbs, fats, proteins, is really, really great for hormones and balancing them and keeping them at that homeostatic level. All right. What else can we do? So, exercise and sleep, of course, as anything, they're great options for health and living a healthy lifestyle. So, these two coupled together are really, really crucial for hormone balance. Exercise is great for relieving stress, so helping with your cortisol levels. It allows, and sleep, as we were saying before, allows time for the body to reset and self regulate. And to go a little bit deeper into the sleep cycle, so the body operates on a biphasic rhythmic temperature levels. So as you sleep, your temperature rises slightly because, as we talked about, your body is working a little bit more to regulate itself. And then throughout the day, of course, you get into different temperatures and your body adjusts to that as well. But it's really crucial for that time for your body to reset and for your hormones to self regulate. That's why a lot of times, too, tracking temperatures first thing in the morning is your most um, accurate reading because your body has just reset and it's fueling up for the day. The Sleeping also helps stabilizes your mood and decompresses the mind as well as exercise. Yoga and stretching are great ways to move the body, but not overexert yourself. So some days throughout, specifically women throughout our month at different points, different exercises might be the best for our body because overexerting yourself through like different intense workouts might not be the best thing for you that day. And if you are new to exercise, always starting with something light like yoga or stretching is a great way to integrate activity into your daily life. And then another thing, a sleep tip, is just to avoid screens or TVs 30 minutes before bed. That can really mess with your melatonin levels and can really decrease your REM sleep cycle.
Yeah, those are all great points. And if you guys missed our last month's webinar was specifically on sleep with Dr. Hillary, and she really does a deep dive on just the specifics of sleep and why it's so important, why sleep is really highly underrated, and why it really should be on the top of our list for overall good health and definitely for hormone health. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. And then I just wanted to mention a couple things, Doc. If we have just a minute, I have a couple things to add and give our listeners some tips regarding specific type of exercises to watch out for if you're
Hmm.
still on your cycle. So some basics to think about is when you start your menstrual phase goes through different cycles. So the first phase, if we just start in the beginning, if we pretend we have like a just a perfect menstrual cycle for phase for 28 to 30 days, the first part of that cycle in the menstrual phase, typically all of your hormone levels are going to be at their lowest. So typically you're a little more fatigued at this time. So you should honor that and give yourself some grace during that time. So just do more lower intensity exercises like walking, yoga, Pilates, foam rolling, make time for stretching, things like that. Then you're going to go into a phase called the follicular phase. So during that time, you can ramp things up a little bit and do some cardio, swimming, and a little more intense yoga or Pilates, power yoga, power Pilates. Then when you're in your ovulatory phase, that's where that's a lot of times really people feel like, wow, I feel great. I've got a lot of energy. So that's where you really want to take advantage of that time frame. You want to up your intensity if possible. If you're strength training, you can lift a little heavier. And that's where you can do more intense cardio bursts, high intensity interval training, hit, things like that. CrossFit, boot camp, those types of things. Like some of the workouts that I know you go to, Dr. Lee Allison, right? What's the go to workout?
I do F45.
Yeah, so like a F45 workout would be great for that. And then when you get to the next phase, that's where the luteal phase, you can reduce your intensity. You can still maintain some strength exercises, do some walking with a little bit of an incline, and still incorporate yoga and Pilates. So I'll see if have a little bullet point sheet or something that I can later add to this broadcast for like a little cheat sheet for people. But I just wanted to take a moment to highlight a few bullet points.
Yeah, that's super helpful. And then also, everyone is different, so there isn't necessarily a direct path for balancing your hormones as well. So listen to your body, create new routines that you can stick to, and also don't try to add so much at one time that you overload yourself and create more cortisol, more stress in your body. So slowly integrate new things into your life and see how you can manage those new things before adding in a bunch more new things as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So how can chiropractic help? As I spoke a little bit earlier about chiropractic and the work of the nervous system with the endocrine system. So chiropractors help by regulating the nervous system. Nothing new there, we know that. The spine is responsible for managing the endocrine system because it is responsible for the transmission of messages from glands to our nerves and vice versa. So in the spine, we have our spinal cord with nerves that exit through each vertebral level. And with each of our specific chiropractic adjustments, it removes those restrictions. So it helps those interruptions and helps the body and all the organ systems, all the different um, parts of the body function optimally. I cannot say that word today. Um, so if something is operating suboptimally, the chiropractic adjustment can help by restoring that balance throughout the spine. And that's why chiropractic is the key is consistency. So the more that we're able to help remove those restrictions, the better the body is going to respond and operate optimally for longer periods of time.
Would you say, Dr. Leah Allison, when you're working with your patients, do you notice that when you start adjusting them, does that help restore functions, including some of the things you talked about earlier, like sleep?
Yes. A lot of times people they come back after maybe after their first adjustment ever and they said, "I slept so good last night,"
Yep.
or "I was able to do XYZ thing and still have energy to live the rest of their day." So, yeah, it can help in so many different ways and help so many different systems.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about, if you were finding the same type of thing. That's usually the first response we hear from patients. They don't
Mhm.
come to us because they're sleep deprived, but after their first adjustment, oftentimes they've had the best sleep that they've had in years.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for us?
Great. No, you did a great job. This is a really interesting discussion. I think we really highlighted the bullet points of what's important for overall health and hormonal imbalance.
Mhm.
I think this was just a good overall presentation. This is such a detailed topic, and
Yeah.
it's a hot button topic right now. It's of interest to a lot of people in different stages of their life, whether it's, while you're on your cycle, if it's later in life when that cycle is starting to wane away, perimenopausal, menopausal is a really
Mhm.
hot topic nowadays. So if this is something you guys are really interested in, if you have more questions about that, we're happy to do more webinars about this. We can even do more detailed discussions, even surrounding the nutrition, around different stages of your hormone cycle.
Mhm.
So just let us know how we can help.
Yes. I agree. This is very there's a lot that goes into endocrinology and hormones, and I was
Yes.
only a couple months out of school, which it feels like forever ago, but I was going back and referring to, like, old PowerPoints, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe how much and how deep you can dive into hormones and endocrine and all the different
Yeah,
functional
you did such
systems of the
a great
body."
for such a detailed topic. This is, I think, is an excellent overview, and I think it'll be very beneficial for a lot of people. And if
Yes.
there's any specific topics people want to do a deeper dive into, we can always
Mhm.
do additional webinars.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys. That is all we have for the evening. It was great to spend a couple minutes chatting.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us, and have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. and take care of yourself. Get some good sleep.
Yes. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Doc. Bye bye.
Yep, bye.